I always thought betrayal was loud, explosive, like a slap in the face or a sudden crash. Turns out it's quiet, it creeps in slowly. Whispers, not screams. It started at the gym. That's where I first saw the signs, though I didn't recognize them at the time. My wife, Sophie, had recently joined Wellridge Athletic Club, said she needed a break, some space, time to focus on herself. I supported it. We'd been married 6 years, and routine can eat away at anyone. I figured maybe a few endorphins would help. I didn't go with her, my schedule didn't allow it, early shifts at the hospital and late-night documentation. But one Saturday morning, I stopped by the club to drop off her forgotten water bottle. That's when I saw him. Tall, shaved head, athletic build. He was spotting her on the bench press, standing a little too close. His hands didn't just guide the bar, they brushed her arms, her waist. She didn't flinch, she laughed. That laugh used to be mine. I didn't say anything, just handed her the bottle, forced a smile, and left. Maybe it was nothing, maybe I was tired, maybe I was paranoid, but then it all began to unravel. She started coming home later, said the gym ran late, said she was grabbing smoothies with the girls, only she never named them. I asked once, casually, "Who's going with you these days?" "Oh, just people from the yoga class," she said, brushing me off like dust. We stopped touching. I'd lean in to kiss her, and she'd turn her head. I'd reach for her hand, and she'd pull away to fix her hair or grab her phone. The warmth was gone. Her skin felt colder every day. One evening, I suggested a weekend getaway. Just the two of us. Hill country, our old cabin. She blinked and said, "I don't think that's healthy right now." "Healthy?" I asked. "For who?" "For us," she said. "I think we should talk to someone, a therapist." That night, I stared at the ceiling for hours. A therapist? For what? I wasn't drinking, I wasn't violent, I wasn't even distant, she was. But I agreed, because that's what you do when you're trying to save something. Our first session was quiet. She did most of the talking. I listened, confused, as she painted me as overbearing, suspicious, emotionally unavailable. The therapist, Dr. Elaine Carter, just nodded, scribbled in her notebook, and asked if I felt seen. Number I didn't feel seen at all. The second session was worse. Sophie brought up the incident at the gym, how I had interrogated her about her friends, how I was creating stories in my head. I said nothing, because what could I say? I didn't have proof, just feelings. After the third session, Dr. Carter asked to speak with me privately, just for 5 minutes. "She seems very defensive," she said gently. I nodded. "And you seem very alone." I didn't know how to answer that, so I left. Got in my car, sat there for 20 minutes in silence. That night, Sophie said she'd be working late. New marketing client, big launch. At 11:47 p.m., I checked our shared credit card. $18.50. Smoothie bar, $76. Wine and cheese shop, $192. Hotel Rivera, downtown Austin. I didn't call. I didn't text. Instead, I walked into our guest room, sat down at the desk, and opened a new folder on my laptop. Sophie, watch closely. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I had ordered a GPS tracker for her car and installed a discrete camera in our apartment building's hallway, right outside the door. It wasn't illegal. The camera was on our side of the hallway. I checked. I told myself it was paranoia. Told myself I was crossing a line. But something deep in my gut whispered, "You're not wrong." The next few days I acted normal, kissed her on the cheek, made breakfast, said I loved her. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. And then came Thursday. I was on call that evening, but the shift was canceled. I didn't tell her, just drove home and parked around the block. 10 minutes later, a car pulled up. Same man, shaved head, confident stride. He walked right into our building. No flowers, no gift, just familiarity. I waited, 37 minutes. Then I went upstairs, unlocked the door softly, and stopped. The hallway camera light was blinking, recording, and inside, muffled laughter. Heron. I didn't go in. I stood there, hand on the doorknob, frozen. Her laugh, his voice. Two silhouettes behind the frosted glass of our living room window. One of them moved closer. I stepped back before anyone could see me. I didn't need to catch them in the act, I just needed confirmation. And I had it. The next morning, I reviewed the hallway footage. My hands were shaking. It was all there, him entering at 6:12 p.m., her opening the door in that pale blue robe she used to wear for me. He didn't hesitate. She didn't flinch. They kissed like it wasn't their first time. I saved the file. Then I copied it to a thumb drive, labeled it austinentry.mp4, just in case. For the next week, I kept collecting. Receipts, card charges, camera footage. I bought a second tracker and hid it in her gym bag. I even created a burner email and sent myself reports daily. Sophie noticed I was quiet, but not enough to care. Or maybe she was just relieved I wasn't asking questions anymore. One night, I asked her casually, "How's Dave doing?" She paused. "Dave?" "Yeah," I smiled, sipping my tea. "That guy from the gym, bald guy, big on CrossFit." She blinked. "Oh, right, I haven't really seen him lately." Lieutenant. I had GPS logs showing his car parked 2 blocks from our apartment every Tuesday and Friday night, always around 7. Always gone by midnight, she was still trying to play house. Still acting like I hadn't already seen the rot beneath the floorboards. That weekend, we went to therapy again. Session 4. She talked about how distant I'd become, how she felt unseen, how she wasn't sure what she wanted anymore. Dr. Carter looked at me gently and asked, "Thomas, do you want this marriage to continue?" I looked at Sophie. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "I want the truth to come out," I said. Dr. Carter was silent. Sophie's jaw tightened. "If you're accusing me of something, just say it." "I'm not accusing," I said. "I'm observing." That night, I got a text from Dr. Carter. "I can't say much, but please protect yourself emotionally. Sometimes silence tells more than confession." It hit me harder than any proof I'd gathered. That same evening, the hallway camera caught something new. Dave coming in again, but this time with a bottle of wine. Sophie wore heels, red lipstick. She hadn't dressed like that for me in months. They laughed, hugged, kissed. She closed the door behind them. The next morning, I called a lawyer, Catherine Olden. Sharp, direct, no fluff. "I'm not sure if I'm filing yet," I said, "but I want to know what I'm entitled to." We talked for 40 minutes. She asked if I had documentation. I said yes, a folder with 18 files, 3 hours of footage, and a PDF titled A Fair Timeline. She said, "You're more prepared than most." I didn't feel proud, just tired. The next step was subtle. I moved half my savings into a new private account, canceled our joint credit card and ordered a replacement only in my name. I told her the bank flagged suspicious activity and was issuing new cards. She didn't ask questions. Maybe she thought I was still asleep. I wasn't. I began to rehearse what I would say when I left. I tried to find words that weren't cruel, but also weren't weak. But nothing felt right. No sentence could carry the weight of what she'd done, not just the affair, but the manipulation, the lies, the gaslighting. And then, out of nowhere, she came home early one afternoon. I was on the couch reading. She stood in the doorway and said, "We need to talk." I looked up. Her eyes were red. "I ended it," she said quietly, "with him." I stayed silent. "I don't want this to ruin us," she said, voice shaking. "Please." I nodded slowly. "I understand." Her shoulders relaxed. Maybe she thought it meant forgiveness. Maybe she thought she still had time. But later that night, while she slept, I packed a bag, just the essentials. Left a note on the kitchen counter. "You didn't lose me when you cheated. You lost me when you lied and made me doubt myself. That's the part I'll never forgive." At sunrise, I was already on the road. Savannah was never part of the plan. But the first time I stepped out of that moving truck and felt the breeze off the river, I knew I'd made the right choice. I found a small rental, 2-bedroom cottage on the edge of town. Pale green siding, a porch swing, and a crooked oak tree in the front yard. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. And more importantly, it wasn't hers. The first few nights were hard. I'd wake up disoriented, reaching for a person who wasn't there. Then I'd remember, and feel that ache in my chest like a pulled muscle that never quite healed. But the silence helped. So did the distance. I set up my home office, started working remotely with the hospital admin team in Austin. It wasn't ideal, but it kept me grounded. Routine, purpose. Sophie didn't contact me for 3 days. Then came the texts. "Where are you? Are you okay? I'm sorry, I made a mistake. You just disappeared. Please talk to me. I ended it. I told you I want to fix this." I didn't reply. She called twice, left one voicemail. Her voice cracked, like she'd been crying. Said she was going to therapy on her own now. Said she'd realized how broken she was and that she never meant to hurt me, that she wanted to start over. I deleted the message without listening to the end. You see, the problem with people like her isn't that they break things. It's that they try to glue them back together without cleaning the shards first. And I was done bleeding. I got a dog. That probably sounds cliché. Guy leaves cheating wife and adopts a golden retriever. But I didn't plan it. I was buying paint at a hardware store when I saw a sign for the local shelter's adoption day. Her name was Bailey. Long ears, honey-colored fur, and a tail that knocked over everything in sight. We clicked instantly. Now she sleeps at my feet while I work. Follows me into every room. Licks my hand when I sit too long in silence. Bailey doesn't lie. Around week 3, I got an email from Dr. Carter. "I hope this message finds you healing. I don't often say this outside the office, but I was proud of you. You trusted your instincts. That takes strength most people never find." I stared at that sentence for a long time. It was the first time someone acknowledged what I'd been through, not as drama, not as gossip, but as survival. One night, I took all the files from my affair folder, the photos, the videos, the timelines. I transferred them to a flash drive, walked outside, and buried it under the oak tree. Not burned, not deleted, just buried. Because forgetting isn't always the goal. Sometimes you just need a place to leave the pain. Sophie tried one last time. She showed up at my new address. I don't know how she found it. Maybe through mutual friends, maybe through old emails. I saw her from the window. She looked different, smaller somehow, like the weight of what she did finally caught up. Bailey barked once, low and steady. I stepped outside, but didn't move past the porch. She held out a letter. "I won't ask for anything," she said. "I just wanted to explain." I nodded, took the envelope, and said, "I wish you healing." Her eyes welled up, but I didn't go down the steps. She left. I never opened the letter. I still have it, tucked into the back of a drawer. Some part of me thinks I might read it one day, but not now. not when peace finally feels possible. Instead, I sit out on the porch with Bailey most evenings, watch the sun set over the Spanish moss, sip coffee, breathe. I smile more now, laugh even. It's not the same kind of laughter I had before, back when I was naive. It's quieter, earned. I'm not looking for revenge. I'm not hoping she suffers. I just hope she learns. Because I did, and for the first time in a long time, that's enough. One morning in late spring, I found myself standing at the edge of the farmer's market in Savannah, holding a cup of fresh peach tea and watching Bailey sniff every basket of herbs in sight. The air was warm. Software families strolled past, laughing. A jazz trio played something slow and nostalgic near the benches. And I realized I hadn't thought about her in days. Not Sophie, not Dave, not even the past. I wasn't pushing the memories away anymore. I wasn't flinching when I saw couples holding hands. I was just living. Healing didn't come all at once. It never does. It came in pieces. In the kindness of a neighbor who brought me sweet tea when I moved in the therapist who saw me even when I couldn't speak, in the wagging tail of a dog who didn't need words to stay by my side. And over time, I stopped defining myself by what was broken. I started noticing what still worked. The mornings got brighter, my steps lighter. There were days I still felt the weight, of course. Grief doesn't disappear. It just learns to sit quietly in the back seat. But I wasn't driving in circles anymore. I had a map again. One evening, a woman at the park asked if she could pet Bailey. Her name was Evelyn. A soft smile, book in hand, and a laugh that came easy. We talked for 20 minutes, then 40. Nothing came of it that night. But when I walked home, I caught myself smiling for no reason. I wasn't looking for love, and maybe I still wasn't ready. But the door I thought I'd nailed shut had quietly unlocked itself. That felt like a victory. I've stopped asking why Sophie did what she did. I've stopped trying to understand how love can turn so careless. Some questions aren't meant to be answered. They're meant to be released. What I do know is this: you can survive betrayal. You can live through heartbreak. And one day, without even noticing, you'll wake up and feel something you thought was gone. Not joy, not forgiveness, peace. A different kind of peace. Not the one you fight for. The one that finds you when you stop fighting. And when it does, you'll know. Just like I did. If this story spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. There's someone out there who needs to hear it too. Tap like, subscribe. Let's remind each other that healing is possible, no matter how late it comes.